Hi there. It's Catherine for my Sunday reflections, an hour later than usual. I changed the times on all of the boxes in Facebook and YouTube. So I hope you all got the message. I was at the FDRS conference this weekend, at the conference virtually. And I want to talk a little bit because, you know, we deal with our lipedema and lymphedema day in and day out. And these conferences are so helpful in bringing a lot of us together and being able to ask questions in order to build community, in order to hear from the physicians and the experts and one another. They had small groups, and I was able to ask a question that I've been looking for an answer for and got it. So, it's all of that that is there for all of us. So, I want to, first of all, say I am much, much, much better from COVID. I'm still having some trouble. You can hear a little bit of wheezing, and I'm having a little bit of trouble breathing. Um, Not if I'm still, but if I'm talking or if I'm moving or if I'm walking, I can feel short of breath. So, but I'm going to see my doc this week. And I think, from what I've read, it's very common and the recovery process takes a while. So I think the recovery process will, continue and that I will continue to get better. Um, so I want to talk about self-care today. One of the things that I took away from the conference is that there are topics that I don't think much about. One of the things that I have not seen, nor have we done, um, was one on healing environments. What constitutes a healing environment? There's a difference, according to this speaker, between curing and healing. We have an incurable disorder. Lipedema is not going to be cured, at least as far as we know up until today. Something, we're hoping, of course, that things change, that something comes, but in the meantime, it is not it is not curable, but you can heal from it. I love that concept. I love it. And I think I'm on a journey right now. I'm cleaning things out. During my time with COVID, I kept, usually I'm so busy. So with my time with COVID, I was looking at all of the spaces that I have and how I'm a collector. I'm a professor and I collect books, articles. Even though I have so much online, I still have quite a few physical. I also like kitsch, little things. And so I've gotten rid of a lot, but I still have some left. And so I started the process of sorting and giving away. I've given away several boxes of stuff, and I'm continuing that process. And there's something about creating spaciousness, just creating spaciousness in a way that frees up not only the external energy, but the internal energy and the internal sense of groundedness. Yes, groundedness. I think I'm gonna do this more frequently, but a friend of mine just recently took me through this wonderful guided visualization on grounding, just visualizing your feet. First of all, feeling your feet on the solid floor, and then visualizing your feet having roots to the center of the earth and grounding, and also visualizing energy coming from, above, whatever that is for you, but that energy coming and really grounding. And that's a lot of where I've been traveling these days, is grounding myself, especially post COVID. And as well, we have our symposium coming up next weekend. And to say that I'm excited is an understatement. I find that I talked about it in our webinar this past week, but our holistic model includes physical, mental, psychological, emotional, spiritual, and social. And all of those components are really quite important to the healing process. And the physical, Maslow's hierarchy of needs starts with the physical and safety, having the physical needs met and having safety needs met. And I think that is what everything else builds upon. That's part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I believe that the physical, nutrition, movement, mobility, the physical environment, having some order, having a sense of beauty, whatever you consider beauty, all contributes to feeling good in your life. And so those are what I've been dedicating this part of my life to. And the conference coming up, our symposium, which I'm pretty sure I linked. If not, I'll make sure I'll go back and link it. Is about that. It is about understanding some of the intricacies, like what are the basics of a low carbohydrate plan. It's all about the symposium is called the ketogenic revolution for lipedema and lymphedema, and it is that in a lot of ways. What is it about all of this that seems to make a difference? Well, it's anti-inflammatory. That is at the core. What causes so much of the pain, what causes so much of the volume is the inflammation. And it's that inflammation that we can reduce with diet, with different food choices. And it was so interesting because one of the presenters at the conference that I just attended yesterday, she was saying, you learn your own body, you learn what your body reacts to. And she said, she has a sensitivity to nightshades. I do too, so I understand. So she said, all right, I had a tomato on Friday. I suffered for it on Saturday. I knew I was going to happen and I did it anyway. So some of those kinds of things. But when you know what it is, you can begin to monitor and move and sort of allow yourself to make those decisions and choices and feel more and more in control. So that's a lot of what our symposium is this coming weekend. So our symposium is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday is the basics, the foundations of keto. We have Amy Berger and Eric Westman talking about the basics and what you need to know and how you can work with a healthcare provider. Dr. Westman is one of the forerunners in implementing a ketogenic way of eating for diabetes, as well as all kinds of disorders, including lipedema and lymphedema. And we have Dr. Lenskis, and we have Carrie Reedy, who is one of our coaches, who's amazing. And Dr. Lenskis is an internist, and he has been seeing lipedema patients. Laurie just asked what the dates are. So the dates are April 29, 30, and I'm putting that in the chat. But also May 1st is a special workshop. It's a post-symposium workshop. It is on carnivore. And so I'm going to talk about carnivore. Um, Wait a second. Let me write this in. Post some. It's hard to talk and write at the same time with COVID brain. Okay. So May 1st. In fact, you know what? See, that's what I'm talking about, having COVID brain still. It's clearing up. It's getting better. Okay. Here's the symposium. It's April 29th and 30th. And you can go to, I'm pretty sure I linked it, but learn.lipedema-simplify.org/keto dash revolution dash 2022. And that will bring you to the page with all the information that I'm saying. So I was saying Dr. Lenskis and Carrie, and then on Friday, Megan Ramos, who is an expert in fasting. She's coming. And with our own Gail Straker, who is our fasting coach. She's actually the director of coaching, but she coaches on keto and fasting. And then on Sunday, and this is something, I mean, I'm so honest with you guys. Hold on just a second. I have to get this is the post-symposium workshop, a deeper dive into keto with a carnivore diet, an advanced approach for fat and lymphatic disorders. So what is carnivore? Carnivore is what it sounds like. It's eating meat. I was a vegetarian slash pescatarian for almost 25, 30 years. I didn't eat meat except for chicken on occasion and fish. That was it. But mostly I was plant-based. I ate plant-based. And I ate a lot of dairy, a lot of cheeses, fake cheeses like tofu cheeses and all that kind of stuff. Which is really interesting because I've had to give up a whole lot of that. But the day on carnivore is Amber O'Hearn, who is really the queen of carnivore. She's been doing it for like 12 years or some ungodly amount of time. And she's had incredible success. And our own Siobhan Huggins and Leslyn Keith, who are both carnivore. And we have a couple of speakers, patient speakers as well. And I'm going to share. I'm going to be sharing in that because it was carnivore and alternate day fasting that got me my mobility back. I'm going to give you the very short version. Some of you know it, but for those of you who don't, I was, when I came back from Germany in 2016, came back with a lot of complications to having had lipedema surgery. And I got very, very sick. And I had an adductor. What started out as a micro tear got worse, and I ended up barely able to walk. And but that wasn't the worst of it. The worst of it, that having lipedema, I also have osteoarthritis, and having had that adductor tear, it exacerbated the osteoarthritis, and my right hip went bone on bone. During the conference, someone was talking about pain levels, and you know how they say, one is no pain, and you go up the scale till you get to 10, which is excruciating pain. I used to do those all the time because I was going to physical therapy, and I was at 10, 11, or 12 most of the time. I was in excruciating pain. I ended up doing CBD and getting cortisone shots, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to talk about this a lot more at the conference. But what happened is at the time, Leslyn and I were doing summits. So we interviewed Sean Baker, who wrote books on carnivore. And I remember getting off the interview with him and saying to myself, what the, and I went carnivore. So one of the issues was that they could not do the surgery because of my lipedema. I had gained weight. I had gained significant weight. And no matter what I did, I couldn't take it off. Not even keto was working for me. So, I mean, keto worked some, and then I plateaued and I couldn't get under, and I was up to 260 pounds again. And I could not have the surgery. And it took me over a year. And with carnivore and fasting, intermittent fasting, and then alternate day fasting, I ended up losing enough weight to have the surgery in September of 2019. So just think, so from really 2016, it really was through 2017 and 18, I was, crazy trying to get out of pain. Um, and it worked. And so I have been kicking and screaming and fighting it. I'm like, I went on a food plan for the summer last year, and it's like, some of my favorite foods are low-cal foods. Low-cal, listen to me. You see how integrated this is. So I am on that edge of giving in and surrendering to what I know works for my body. So I invite you to that exploration. Come to the symposium if you can. It is going to be an in depth exploration so you can begin to see and adapt what works for you. I feel like I'm right at that edge, as I said, where I really do know more of, or at least feel my hypothesis is what's going to work. And I'm just at that place of committing and giving it 90 days, just like a 90-day trial to see what happens. I'll let you know. I will keep you informed. So I hope you're all well. I hope you're having a great day. I hope to see you at the symposium. Again, that's this coming Friday, Saturday, and if you'd like to join us for the carnivore workshop on Sunday. If you're at all interested, and this is the one to do because it has to do with lymphatic disorders, and the folks that are coming are top in the field, um, outside of just lipedema and lymphedema, but in the field of understanding keto, carnivore, and all of its implications. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for showing up. We tried to get an email out, and the email, we couldn't get to the email in time, so it said 11:30. So those of you here with me late, thank you. I so appreciate you, and have a wonderful week. Bye.